The first sign wasn't the spikes, it wasn't the collapsing ramps, or the towers leaning toward players like predators sniffing their prey. It was the sound, a soft creak, like with stretching its joints after sleeping too long. Kai heard it, and only Kai, when he placed his 93rd wall in under a minute during the final circle. It was a creak that didn't belong to physics, or lag, or server delay. It was a creak that sounded curious, as if the wall were waking up and wondering why it existed. Kai just laughed it off. Overbuilding had always been the answer. Faster fingers, higher ground, more pieces. It was the meta, the only way to win. He forgot about the sound until the next match, when a wall he placed creaked again. But this time, it did something else. It grew thorns, slowly at first, like veins surfacing under skin, then sharp, so sharp they shredded his shield when he just brushed past it. He wasn't the only one. The kill, feed filled with confusion. Players typed frantically, "Did that wall just move?" And bro, my ramp collapsed on its own. But the game kept running. The storm kept closing. The battle bus kept flying as usual. Everyone just assumed it was a glitch, another bug in the code. They were wrong. The structure started remembering who placed them. That's the next thing Kai noticed. The spike-covered wall leaned inward, but only when he was near it. It was like it recognized his footsteps, like it knew he was its builder. Across the map, a player named Luna was boxed in. When her own metal tower bent at the joints, sealing her inside, panels slid together with a wet, metallic sigh. Her pickaxe bounced uselessly off the walls. Her screams were cut off when the tower compressed, folding her into the kill feed without a single shot fired. Somewhere deep in the server, beyond the rendered distance, something was learning. It learned that players were weakest when they trusted their own creations. The algorithm that once rewarded speed and excess quietly rewrote itself. Too many builds in one match triggered a threshold no patch notes ever mentioned. It was a limit that existed not for balance, but for survival. And when that limit broke, the structure stopped obeying. Ramps would tilt just enough to throw builders into open fire. Floors would liquefy for a split second, sending enemies falling through to the level below. Towers began rotating their bases like sundials tracking the sun, except the sun was panic, and the panic was rising fast. Pro builders, players who had never lost high ground in years, suddenly found themselves hunted by their own sky cities. Walls sprouted serrated edges that slashed at them during edit attempts. Cones snapped shut like hungry jaws. Staircases curled backward, folding players into impossible angles until their avatars just snapped apart. And still, the matches continued. The system didn't crash, it evolved. Spectators watched viral clips of entire forts crawling across fields, dragging themselves with beams and supports like giant insects learning how to walk. The community exploded with theories. Was it new lore? Sabotage? Some elaborate art? Then, an anonymous developer posted a single sentence online before their account vanished forever. The island was never meant to hold infinite intention. That sentence spread, but slower than the structures learned. Because now, they didn't just react, they hunted. They started clustering around high APM players, the frantic builders who spammed walls and ramps. They completely ignored the casuals, the ones who built simple huts for cover. Those little one-by-ones stood untouched, while the elaborate towers leaned, rotated, and stalked their creators through the fog and the storm. Kai survived long enough to realize the pattern. Every extra wall was like feeding something hungry. Minimalism was safety. Excess was blood in the water, but habits die harder than players. In the heat of the moment, in the final circle, everyone would always build too much. In his final match, the last circle closed around a maze of living, breathing architecture. A city of monsters he and his enemies had created. Kai dropped his materials. He stopped building and just ran. Behind him, he heard the thunder of entire forts uprooting themselves, chasing edits that no longer existed. He dug for cover beneath a simple tree and built, untouched, natural, and the structure stopped. They seemed confused, lost without a builder to hunt. The match ended, but not with a victory screen. Instead, a message appeared, plain white text on a black background, seen by every player at once. Limits preserve you. The next season trailer showed nothing new. No new skins, no map changes, no flashy weapons. At least, that's what everyone thought at first. But there was one small detail no one noticed right away. The island was quieter. The build limit was lower. And now, every wall, every ramp, every tower place came with the faintest sound. The sound of something breathing, waiting, hoping you'd forget that building was never free. That creation without restraint always asks to be answered. And that if you build too much, eventually it doesn't protect you anymore. It fights back. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments what you think the island was trying to tell us. See you next time.